Right, so here's my force today. Primary detachment is the Dark Eldar. We have an Archon with the Armour of Misery and a Webway portal. We've got 2 squads of 3 Reaver jet bikes. Each squad of 3 has a cluster caltrop. We have 5 Scourge there, 4 of them with haywire blasters. Ravager with 3 Dark Lancers and Night Shields. We've got the Scalpel Squadron formation from the Homunculus Covens book. So riding in each of those is 5 racks each, and they each have an ossifactor. We've then got 2 squads of 10 warriors with a splinter cannon riding in 2 raiders with night shields and splinter racks. And then we've got 2 empty raiders just with night shields. And we've got the Razor Wing just with night shields. 2 necrotoxin missiles and 2 monocyte missiles. We then have an Eldar combined arms detachment of 2 squads of 3 jet bikes, no upgrades on them. We've got the Farseer on jet bike there as well. He's going to be rolling on telepathy. And we have the Crimson Hunter Exarch there as well. We've then got the Aspect Warhost formation of Warp Spiders, Dark Reapers and Fire Dragons. The Fire Dragons will be going with the Archon in a Raider. And we also have the Heroes Path Harlequin formation as well. Shadowsea is Mastery level 2 and has the Mask of Secrets, and she will be rolling on Phantasmancy. So we'll come back to you after deployment.
This is a 2,500 point list. We've got Terminator Chaplain and a Librarian. We're looking at a squad of 10 scouts with the bolters, a squad of 5 scouts with a Landspeeder Storm. We've got the Thunderfire Cannon with Tech Priest. Then we've got the 2 Forge World units, which is the Relic Sea Carrying Tank and the Relic Contempted Dreadnought, which has got the Kerry's Assault Cannon and the Cyclone Missile Launcher with the Power Fist. We've got a squad of Assault Terminators, and that makes up the Crimson Fist part of the detachment. Over to the other 1,250 odd points.
Yep. So this is the Ultramarines half of the army. We've got Captain Sicarius with a command squad here. That is a tactical squad. Sergeant with bolt pistol and chainsword, and there's also a melter gun there. Here we've got a Devastator squad. And that's 2 plasma cannons, 2 las cannons, and Sergeant with a combi plasma. Here we've got Stern Guard squad, mostly just bolters for the special ammunition. Sniper scouts here. There's a drop pod there, which is for the Stern Guard. Regular Land Raider here. And finally we've got a Razorback with a twin glass cannon.
Right, so here we go. The mission is Spoils of War. We've got the 6 objectives. Number 2 there. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5, number 6, and where's the other one? Down behind there. So, as you can see, this is a deployment. I deployed first. I'm letting them go first unless they seize. So there's some scouts have infiltrated behind that cover. The Razorback here. We've got the Thunderfire and the Devastators on the top. The Land Raiders hiding there. The Terminator Chaplain probably come to this side through the tank traps. Meanwhile over here, we've got a squad of Reavers here. The Warp Spiders stuck in their open, but I don't mind due to their flicker jump. We've got the Dark Reapers and the Death Jesters infiltrated here with the 3 Reavers and the 3 Eldar jet bikes. The Ravagers side armour facing forward so that can get some cover. Down here, we've got the jet bikes facing up that way with the Farseer and the Shadowseer in the Raider there as well. So, let's see if they seize. And they don't. So, we'll come back with Eldar, turn 1. Right, so just to note, these were my sighted powers. For the Farseer, I've got Sight and Shriek, Dominate, Terrify and Hallucination. The Shadowseer has Veil of Tears, Dance of Shadows and Pearl of Discord. Combat drugs for the Reavers is +1 toughness. The cards I have drew: Assassinate, which is kill a character. Supremacy, controlled 2 objective markers and twice as many as your opponent. And Harness the Warp. So we should be able to hopefully get 2 of those. So we'll come back after the movement phase. Right, so movement phase down here. Both Venoms have scattered a little bit further forward onto the scouts. I tried to place them about here. That guy did pass his dangerous terrain though, so he's fine. Down here, the jet bikes and the Farseer have moved up, as well as the Shadow Seer in the Raider. Down here, these jet bikes have come forward, looking to grab the objective in there. The Warp Spiders have jumped up here. They've passed all the dangerous terrain tests. They moved 14 inches with their warp jump. These jet bikes have just pulled back, and the Ravagers pivoted just to get a line of sight in down on the Land Raider over there. And these guys have just jumped up here to grab that. So we'll now move on to the Psychic phase. It's a Psychic phase down here. I tried to cast off Terrify to give them the scouts a further -1 leadership, and Dan managed to stop it. I also cast Dominate on them, and I did cast Hallucinate. However, the Scouts are combat squadded and the Sergeant is not in that squad, so that didn't do anything. So that does score me 1 victory point for Harness the Warp. I also score Supremacy as I control 1, 2, 3, 4 objectives, so I'll roll that one in a moment. But down here, the Ravager got a pen on the Land Raider and destroyed the heavy bolter on there, and the Dark Reapers took out the 2 last cannons on the Devastators. That piece of terrain is bolstered due to the Tech Marines, so we've still got the 3 up cover on there. Them and the Scouts both passed their leadership test. The Scouts passed despite having -1 from the Scalper Squadron there as well. Those were lost due to the poison shots raining down. They went to ground anyway, so it was a 2 up cover, and Dan rolled 2 1s. These guys have just flattered out this way, just so that they're not sat in the open. And that was it for that phase. So the D3 for Supremacy, that is 2 points, plus Harness the Warp gives me 3 points altogether. Right, so cards for the Space Marines: Secure Objective 5, Secure Objective 4, and Scour the Skies, which they can't get as of yet, but they can get it in a moment. Over here, the Land Raider has moved forward, didn't get immobilised or anything on the ruins, and the Terminators have disembarked, looking to get a charge on the Spiders. I maybe should have kept them a little bit further back. These Scouts got a 6-inch move through cover, and looking at the Reavers in there. The drop pod came in, and the Stern Guard have all getting out, looking to shoot down at the Reavers and get them off, as that is Objective 5. And then obviously Objective 4 is this one here. Over here, the Sicarian.
Not quite finished moving, sorry. Just realised the Dreadnought.
The Dreadnought and the Sicarian over that side. The Razorback has moved out, and the Command Squad and Sicarius have jumped out as well, looking to take on the Venoms and get rid of them. So we'll now move on to the Psychic phase. So in the Psychic phase, these were Dan's Librarian powers, and he summoned some Slaneshi Demonettes. Try to land them here, but they've scattered this way. And yes, we know the Bloodletters, but they are Demonettes for today. He perilled as he rolled 3 6s. He put all 6 of his dice into it, and he failed his leadership test on rolling a 5, so the Librarian has taken a wound. So that was it for the Psychic phase. We'll now move on to the Shooting phase. It's a Shooting phase. Down here, the Sicarian and the Dreadnought shot at the Venom, and despite jinking, one got through and blew up. So the racks there, obviously they feel us next turn, so we haven't rolled to see if they're pinned or not, as we don't need to. Down here, the Plasma Gunners from these took 1 whole point off the Venom there. The Stern Guard that disembarked used their Ignores cover rounds and got rid of the Reavers in there, despite having toughness 5. Back here, the Ravager has lost 2 hull points. One of the plasma gunners from the plasma cannons from the Devastator squad got a glance, and the last cannon from the Land Raider that you see over there got a glance on that as well. The last cannon on that side killed one of the Reavers that was here, and they failed the morale check and they ran off the board. So they have got first blood as it stands at the moment. Down here though, I was hoping that somebody would shoot at the spiders, but no. So the Terminators are going to be charging. I really should have kept them back on this side of the objective instead. Those guys there have ran up. So we'll now move on to the rest of the turn. Right, so down here the Thunderfire fired down at the Ravager. Got 2 hits, but didn't manage to get that last hull point off. Over there, the Scout snapshot at the Rax or the Venom, I can't remember, but no casualties were done. And over here in combat, despite getting 4 hits on Overwatch and Dan rolling 5 ones, he got 6 wounds altogether. So obviously that instant death, the Exarch, and Terminators consolidated onto that. So that gets them first blood, secure objective 4 there, and secure objective 5 on this side as well. So the score is 3-3. Right, so Dark Eldar turn 2. We still have Assassinate, secure objective 3, secure objective 6. Well, there's 3, and the racks over there are on 6. Roll for me reserves. This raider came in, I went to place it there, but it's scattered. And as you can see, the Farseer and the bikes have moved up there. The raider with the Shadow Sea has moved up here and getting immobilised. This raider's come on from the table edge. These guys have all stayed exactly where they are. The Razor Wing is here looking to drop some large blasts on everything in that building. And the Crimson Hunter's looking to get a few shots down in on that Land Raider there, hopefully take that out. We've also got the Terminators there as well. So we'll now move on to the Psychic phase. Right, so shooting phase has been brutal. Got 4 direct hits with the Fleshbane and the Strength 6 Shred missiles from the Razor Wing, and took out the Devastators that were left, and I took out 4 of the Scouts that were with the Librarian. The Thunderfire also took a wound. The Librarian and the last Scout died to the fire from the Dark Reapers. The Scourge over here only got 2 hull points off the Land Raider. The Ravager shot and got 2 hits but didn't actually go through. And the Crimson Hunter here shot down, didn't get a single pen at all. Over here, this Poison Bow unloaded into the Stern Guard and there was a few of them left. The Death Jester then shot down and killed one that was there and failed the morale check, and I've made them run towards me. The Demons here died from all the mass poison from this raider here, as well as the disintegrator cannons from the 2 raiders. What else happened? Over there, we lost 2 of the Marines in, what's the guy called again? Sicarius' squad to Psychic Shriek. Unfortunately, I put my Farseer about here, so he couldn't get everybody. I actually rolled quite high, I rolled 14 as well. The racks on both sides here didn't do anything, despite the snap shoots, and then the Farseer has flat outed back to here. I think that was it for the shooting phase. So, Assassinate, I get D3 as I actually killed 4 characters. But my Warlord trait allows me to re-roll that, so I'm going to re-roll. So for 1 point for that, plus Slay the Warlord gets me 2. Secure Objective 3, I'm there. Secure Objective 6, the racks are on there. Sorry about that, I just actually realised Sicarius is actually the Warlord, so I did not get the Slay the Warlord. That puts the Eldar and Dark Eldar at 6 points to 3 at the end of turn 2. So, cards for the Space Marines: Harness the Warp, Scour the Skies, and Secure Objective 3. I'm currently sat on Objective 3. We're going to be moving some of the stuff around, but this Land Raider, the tactical squad's embarked on it with the Chaplain, and they're going to go into where the Terminators were. The Terminators move back there. With it being on 1 hull point, we thought we'd film it just in case we roll a 1.
Right, let's see what we get.
No, so we're fine. I know where the Land Raider's going then. Right, so the Sicarian has moved there, and I think Dan's going to, I'm forgetting the name of the rule of it, but he's going to use the one that gives him Skyfire and Tank Hunter to shoot this down. Terminators have moved through here looking to charge the Solitaire. I was hoping Dan had forgotten about him, but never mind. Hopefully, because they'll be hitting on 5s, I might survive that and hit and run out. Over here, the stern guard rallied, obviously, and he's looking to probably get a couple of shots in on the jet bikes here. The scouts have moved through cover there, looking to get something in on the raider. Sicarius has moved out and can either shoot at the Venom or the racks there, and the Razorback's looking to probably pop its last cannon down at this Ravager, trying to hit the last hull point off it. The Dreadnought has moved up into the ruins there as well. So there's no psychic phase this time, and actually that reminds us, the reason the Librarian died is because last psychic phase he actually took a wound due to Pearls, and then obviously did enough wounds with the Razor Wing. So we'll now move on to the shooting phase. Right, so the shooting phase has been pretty good for the Marines. The Ravager here died to the last cannon from the Razorback you see through the ruins over there, failed the 3-up cover. Down here I lost one of the Windriders to the Thunderfire cannon. However, they passed the morale check. Dan was hoping to scare them off the board and then flat out the Landspeeder Storm onto this so that he can get that. Shooting. The Sicarian took out the Crimson Hunter. Down here, the Dreadnought heavy flamed the Scourge, and then used the assault cannon and the missile launcher as well. And despite 6-up feel no pains for quite a few and 6-up invuln armor, 2 of them stand and they passed their morale check. Down here, the scouts lobbed a crack grenade and fired some bow pistols at the raider, and one of the bow pistol glances went through. Over here, that Venom is now wrecked. The plasma pistol and the crack grenade and bow pistols managed to get through them. And down here,
we had a Matt Damon where a Space Marine scout managed to throw a frag grenade onto the top of himself.
Yeah, so he was going for all 5 of the racks, scattered back, but thankfully didn't cause any wounds. So I believe that is it for the shooting phase. We're now going to go on to assault. I think them scouts are charging in. Right, so combat. The scouts charged the racks there, and it was a tight combat. Sicarius over here charged the racks, and that was a tight combat.
Well, we won with the man, but you feel as it makes all difference.
Yeah, so there we go. Over here, the Dreadnought got 1 hit on the Scourge, and she passed her 6-up invuln. I actually want them to kill me so that I can get out and then shoot at it next turn. And over here, the Hammonators, despite hitting on 5s, caused 2 wounds on the Solitaire. I tried to hit and run out, even though it would be at initiative 1, and I actually rolled the 1, so I got out, and he's ran to there, and they've consolidated there. So that means that he is neutered for this turn. Down here, the scouts charged in at the raider. They lost 1 to Overwatch, and despite crack grenades and a melter bomb, didn't get any hull points down on the raider. So that does give them Scour the Skies for destroying the flyer over here. And Dan has elected to discard Harness the Warp. So as it stands now, at the end of turn 2, it is 6 points to 4. Right, so I've drew Psychological Warfare, secure 5, and take them alive, destroy something in the assault field. So that's probably the one I'm not going to get. And possibly Psychological Warfare with the leadership 10 from Sicarius. So I've done my movement. This raider's just shuffled to the side slightly. Get some shots down on the Terminators. Those guys have stayed exactly where they are. The raider immobilised itself when it was trying to get up on objective 5, so I ended up getting the Shadow Seer out instead. The Razor Wings come over here just to hopefully try and get rid of that with the disintegrator cannons. And the Solitaire is running. He is going there to try and keep out of the way of something else. I didn't really want to stay near the Terminators or the Land Raider with the tactical squad in, or get near the Dreadnought. So he's running. He's going to there. That's it for the movement phase, apart from Fire Dragons and a Deep Striking Raider that doesn't scatter. So that's going to cause something nasty, I think. We'll move on to the Psychic phase. Right, so in the Psychic phase, I cast Terrify on the Scouts, which give them -1 leadership. The Shadow Seers within 12 inches confers a -2. And those racks in combat were just within 12, so that conferred a -3, plus the 1 for Terrify at -4 meant that the scouts were taking leadership on 5. So they failed the morale check and they've ran back. I also cast Psychic Shriek on the single guy that was there, and he would have been at -2 leadership as well, and I rolled 2 5s and a 6. So he got absolutely tore apart by the warp. We'll now move on to the shooting phase. Right, so shooting phase. The disintegrator cannon caused 2 hull points on the Razorback there. Down here, got rid of some of the scouts with all the poison shots and everything, as well as the disintegrator cannon. The 2 disintegrator cannons on these, I shot them first at the Terminators, and Dan lost 2. And then I was out of rapid fire range, so I didn't get quite as many shots in. Lost another one, but the morale check was passed. The Dart Reapers fired up here at the Thunderfire cannon and caused a wound. Down there, the Fire Dragons, despite the Sicarian having Ceramite plating, still got enough pens, but they didn't blow it up, so it didn't cause any damage to it. So that was it for the shooting phase. We'll now work on the remaining combats. Right, so at the end of Dark Eldar turn 3, we score Psychological Warfare in the Psychic phase and secure Objective 5 because the Shadow Seer is on. I also secured Objective 3, which I stole from the Marines. And in combat over here, the Scouts and the Racks tied. Down here, I lost 4, but I killed 1 in return. And over here, the Dreadnought killed 1 of the Scourge, and I chose to fail my morale check. And she ran back to there. Thinking about it now, I should have stayed and took the morale check and kept them locked up. Yeah, that was a bad decision, never mind. So yeah, that scores me those 2, and take them alive, sorry, I'm going to discard. Right, so the Marines have drew Hungry for Glory, Secure Objective 2, and Kingslayer. Kingslayer's going to be interesting. If I'd left or tried to take the morale check for the Scourge, she'd have stayed in combat and held that one, the Dreadnought, up, but the Dreadnought's now moved, looking to get the Warlord in the Raider there. The Land Raider tried to push out of the ruins and rolled a 1, so the Land Raider is now destroyed, and the Chaplain and the Tac Squad have gotten out. Terminators have shuffled forward as well, looking to hopefully get a bead down on the Raider, see if they can charge it. Over here, the Scouts are hiding on Objective 2. And the Transport has the... Is it a Land Speeder Storm?
Yeah.
Obviously coming from there, moving it to 12 inches up to there. Down here, this Scout has automatically rallied and probably looking to try and take the last hull point off that Raider there. And we've elected to leave the Razorback where it is. Don't want to risk immobilising it after what happened to the Land Raider. So we'll now move on to the shooting phase. Down here, the Dreadnought unloaded everything, including the Heavy Flamer. The Heavy Flamer took out one of the guys inside, and no, actually there was 2. I lost 2 Fire Dragons altogether. Despite the Raider jinking, it's down on 1 hull point, and obviously -2 Fire Dragons. I lost 1 from the Heavy Flame from the Dreadnought and 1 from the Flamer from the Tech Marine there. Dan elected not to shoot the Thunderfire cannon. Down here, the Raider is gone because of that melter gunner there. And I lost 3 of the guys in the explosion. They're not pinned, and they passed their morale check as well. So the Terminators are now probably going to look to charge them. Down here, Stormbolt from the drop pod shot at the Solitaire, hoping to take the last wound off, but didn't cause a wound. And the last cannon from here took the last hull point off. I couldn't jink as I was immobilised. I still got a 6-up cover, but failed it. The guys got out of there as well, so they are fine. So that just brings us now to the assault phase for these 2 Terminators. Do they make it there? And of course I will be overwatching. Right, so down here the Dreadnought charged in, and the Fire Dragons overwatched. The Archon chucked a haywire grenade. The Exarch hit and penned, and then blew up the Dreadnought. The Archon's haywire grenade rolled a 1, but the important thing is the Dreadnought is gone. Over here, the Terminators charged and just rolled too short. We needed a 7-inch charge, and Dan rolled a 6. As you can see, they took no casualties from Overwatch. Over here, the Racks won combat, and the Scouts managed to pass their morale check despite the -2. -1 leadership for the Racks, and then obviously -1 for losing combat. Over here as well, Sicarius killed the last of the Racks and consolidated back out of the way over there. So that scores the lads secure objective 2, which the Scouts are on back here, and they're probably going to discard one of the cards. So we'll now move on to Dark Eldar, turn 4. Right, so from objectives, I've got secure objective 2, hold the line, and secure 5. 2 is there with the Scouts underneath, so I'm not going to get hold the line as I need to get rid of them. And I've got nothing on this board half really to deal with them. These bikes have moved up and probably looking to move over there and contest it. All of these guys here have stayed exactly where they are. The Scourge failed to rally and she fell back 14 inches to there. The Farseer detached and the bikes are looking this way. And the Farseer has gone that way to cast some psychic shenanigans over there. Those guys got a 6-inch move, and the Solitaire blitzed and moved 14 inches to them. That's it for movement. The Razor Wing went off. That can't move because it was stunned or shook last turn. So that is it for the movement phase. We'll now move on to Psychic. Right, so Psychic phase, all I managed to do was get Terrify off on them. And despite the -1 leadership, they still managed to pass their leadership tests. I've still got these guys to shoot, so we'll come back to that one in a second. But over here, the Disintegrator Cannon from this shot down at the Terminators, managed to kill one. The Warriors as well, rapid fire, but didn't kill the other one. And that guy failed his morale check and ran. The two Terminators, the two Tactical Marines there lost 2 of their number to the Death Jester, and they've got the Zealot because of the Chaplain, so they don't run. I shot the Strength 8 missiles from the Reapers, down at the Thunderfire, and Dan passed all of his cover saves. Both the jet bike squads have moved here onto objective 2, and that is it for shooting, apart from these guys here, which I'm going to shoot down at them in a second. And then I've got 2 combats to do. I'm going to charge the Solitaire in, and I'm also going to resolve the Racks over there. Right, so down here, the Racks managed to kill one of the Scouts. Dan failed his leadership test and ran, but the Racks actually caught him, so that tied the combat up. Over here, the Solitaire charged in with his Blitz with 12 attacks and challenged Sicarius. I didn't roll a single 6 to hit, so there was no AP2s there. I got a couple of wounds off, I think about 4 or 5, with Furious Charge. But he passed all of his saves. He hit back, he got about 4 or 5 wounds, and I passed every single save. I was sweating there thinking he was going to go down. He's probably going to go down in their assault phase though. So that was the only thing there. Before this assault happened, the Warriors there shot everything down, but passed all of their armor saves as well. So at the end of that turn, I score secure objective 5, I don't get hold the line, and I don't get secure 2 because the Scouts are in there as well. I'm going to discard hold the line though. Done the entire Space Marine turn there in one go, there wasn't much left, and all of this has happened. Basically, me raiders, jet bikes that were there, took a casualty from these. The Scouts had moved out to this side, and Dan took a risk and dropped the Thunderfire on the bikes as well, took out the 2 from the top. The Scouts managed to kill one with the pistols. They then charged in and destroyed them in combat and consolidated back inside onto Objective 2. Now, because Dan drew Objective 2 and I have it, that puts them with an extra 2 points. Combat phase down here, the Solitaire was finally killed by Sicarius due to him only being on 1 wound. I did inflict 2 wounds back, but he passed his Feel No Pain and his armor saves from the normal wounds, as I only rolled 2 6s to hit. Down here, tied combat yet again. I lost a single warrior here to the scout that was round the back there, and the land speeder flamed the raider there and killed another fire dragon. So that puts the final score, if we add up line breakers, at 10-8. We're going to call it there, as there's not much left on the Space Marine side, and we are unfortunately running out of time. But it's been a really good game. I took a lot of casualties from the Space Marines, incredibly resilient against elves. So that's the end of the battle. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and stay tuned for more.